Welcome to this Step 3 review on gynecologic emergencies, brought to you by Roadmap to Residency. Today is not about reteaching gynecology, it is about how the question stems are built and how to attack them under exam pressure. Gynecologic emergencies are a favorite of the exam because the stems hide a small number of must-not-miss diagnoses inside ordinary-sounding complaints. We will focus on 4 of them: ectopic pregnancy, ovarian torsion, pelvic inflammatory disease and tubo-ovarian abscess, and the evaluation of a patient after sexual assault. For each one, we will read the stem the way a clinician does, find the words that give away the diagnosis, and choose the next best step. Keep your question bank and a trusted review resource open beside this video because these patterns stick best when you drill them. Let us get started. Here is the game plan for today. First, you will learn to read a gynecologic vignette the way a working physician does, scanning immediately for the words that signal a true emergency. Second, we will work through the 4 highest-yield gynecologic emergencies one at a time, each with a full practice question and a complete walkthrough of why every answer choice is right or wrong. Those 4 are ectopic pregnancy, ovarian torsion, pelvic inflammatory disease and tubo-ovarian abscess, and the evaluation of a patient after sexual assault. This video assumes you already have baseline knowledge from your review resources. Our job is to sharpen how you take the test, so that the moment you see the trigger words in a stem, the next best step is automatic. Strategy 1 is to read the stem hunting for the emergency, not to read it passively. Start with one reflex that will save you over and over on gynecology questions. In any woman of reproductive age who presents with abdominal pain or vaginal bleeding, the very first thing you look for is the pregnancy test result. The stem almost always hands it to you. A positive test next to belly pain instantly puts ectopic pregnancy at the top of your list, and it makes certain answer choices unsafe before you even finish reading. Once you have the pregnancy status, hunt for the trigger words that separate the 4 emergencies. Sudden, severe, one-sided pain with nausea and vomiting is the language of ovarian torsion. Fever with pain when the cervix is moved on exam is the language of pelvic inflammatory disease. A missed period with spotting and a positive pregnancy test is the language of ectopic. And a patient who discloses a sexual assault signals a structured, protocol-driven evaluation rather than a hunt for a single diagnosis. Grab those words first, and the rest of the stem falls into place. Strategy 2 is to let the patient stability sort your answer choices before you commit. On every gynecologic emergency stem, pause and read the vital signs and the physical exam. If the blood pressure is low, the heart rate is high, the belly is rigid or shows peritoneal signs, or the patient has fainted, that patient is unstable. In a pregnant patient with a positive test, those findings point straight to a ruptured ectopic pregnancy, and they make any answer that delays care for slow outpatient testing wrong. Here is the rule that follows. When the patient is unstable, the correct answer is to act. Resuscitate with fluids and blood and move toward the operating room. Do not pick the answer that orders one more scan on a crashing patient. When the patient is stable, you have time, and confirmatory imaging or a measured workup becomes the right next step. If you do nothing else on these questions, sort the choices by whether the patient is stable or unstable, and the safe answer usually reveals itself. Before we start the practice questions, here are the 4 emergencies at a glance, organized by the trigger that shows up in the stem. First, a positive pregnancy test with abdominal pain or spotting. That pairing means think ectopic pregnancy. If the patient is stable, the next best step is a transvaginal ultrasound together with a quantitative pregnancy hormone level. If she is unstable, you resuscitate and head to surgery. Second, sudden, severe, one-sided pelvic pain, often with nausea and vomiting, and an ovarian cyst or mass. That means think ovarian torsion. Doppler ultrasound is the imaging test, but remember that a normal Doppler does not rule torsion out, so if the picture fits, the answer is diagnostic surgery, because saving the ovary depends on acting fast. Third, fever and lower abdominal pain with tenderness when the cervix is moved. That is pelvic inflammatory disease, which you treat presumptively with antibiotics, and you escalate your suspicion to a tubo-ovarian abscess when there is a pelvic mass or when antibiotics are not working. And fourth, a patient who discloses a sexual assault. That disclosure shifts you out of diagnosis mode and into a consent-driven, protocol-based evaluation that cares for the patient and preserves evidence. Keep these 4 triggers in mind as we work the questions. Let us work our first practice question, and this one tests the ectopic pregnancy pattern. A 26-year-old woman comes to the emergency department with right-sided lower abdominal pain and light vaginal bleeding for 1 day. Her last menstrual period was about 7 weeks ago, and her urine pregnancy test is positive. Her blood pressure and heart rate are normal, she is comfortable, and her abdomen is only mildly tender on the right with no rebound. The question asks for the most appropriate next step in management. Before you choose, notice the 2 facts that matter most. The pregnancy test is positive, and the patient is hemodynamically stable. Hold both of those in mind, read the 4 options carefully, and pick your answer. Then we will walk through the reasoning together on the next slide. Let us break this down step by step. First, spot the pattern. A positive pregnancy test with one-sided pain and light bleeding at about 7 weeks is a possible ectopic pregnancy until proven otherwise, and the detail that drives everything is that she is stable. Her blood pressure and heart rate are normal, and her belly is soft, which means you have time to confirm the diagnosis the safe way. Second, apply the rule. For a stable patient with a positive test, the next best step is to find where the pregnancy is, and that means a transvaginal ultrasound together with a quantitative pregnancy hormone level. Those 2 together tell you whether the pregnancy sits inside the uterus or somewhere it should not, and they guide treatment. So the answer is choice A. Third, eliminate the wrong answers. Choice B, immediate surgery, is the move for an unstable patient. And she is stable, so it is too aggressive here. Choice C, giving methotrexate without any imaging is unsafe because you must confirm an ectopic and rule out a normal early pregnancy before you ever give that drug. Choice D, reassurance with a return in 2 weeks, ignores a possible ectopic and risks a rupture in the meantime. The stability of the patient pointed you straight to the confirmatory ultrasound, which is choice A. Here is our second practice question, and it is built around the ovarian torsion pattern. A 19-year-old woman comes to the emergency department with sudden, severe, right-sided pelvic pain that started just 2 hours ago, and she also has nausea and vomiting. The pain comes in waves. Her urine pregnancy test is negative, which helps push ectopic down the list. On exam, she is in real distress, with marked right-sided tenderness, and the pelvic ultrasound shows an enlarged right ovary with a cyst and reduced blood flow on Doppler. The question asks for the most appropriate next step. As you read the options, notice the speed and severity of the onset, the vomiting, and the ovary with poor blood flow. Pick your answer now, and we will reason through it on the next slide. Let us reason through this one. First, spot the pattern. Sudden, severe, one-sided pelvic pain with nausea and vomiting in a young woman with an enlarged ovary and reduced blood flow is ovarian torsion. There is a crucial trap hidden here that the exam loves. A normal Doppler ultrasound does not rule out torsion, because blood flow can come and go as the ovary twists and partially untwists. So when the clinical picture fits torsion, you act on that picture and you do not let a reassuring scan talk you out of it. Second, understand why surgery wins here. Torsion cuts off the blood supply to the ovary, and the longer it stays twisted, the more likely the ovary dies. Saving it depends entirely on speed. So the next best step is to take her to surgery to look directly and untwist the ovary, which is choice A. Now eliminate the rest. Choice B, computed tomography, only adds delay and does not change what you already suspect. Choice C, pain medicine and outpatient follow-up, risks losing the ovary while she waits. Choice D, antibiotics, treats an infection that simply is not in this stem, since she has no fever and no signs of pelvic infection. The answer is choice A, and the lesson is that a normal Doppler does not save you from operating when torsion is the clinical picture. Here is the single test-taking pearl that ties all 4 emergencies together, and it is to let patient stability sort the answer. On any gynecologic emergency stem, your first move after reading the complaint is to check the vital signs and the exam for instability. If you see low blood pressure, a fast heart rate, a rigid or peritoneal belly, or fainting, treat that patient as unstable, and the next best step is to act. Resuscitate with fluids and blood and head toward the operating room. Do not be tempted by the answer that orders one more scan while the patient is crashing, because on these stems action beats imaging when the patient is unstable. Now flip it. When the vital signs are normal and the belly is reassuring, the patient is stable, and you have earned the time to confirm. For a possible ectopic, That means a transvaginal ultrasound with a quantitative pregnancy hormone level. For suspected pelvic inflammatory disease, that means starting empiric antibiotics without waiting for cultures. There is one important exception to keep in your pocket. Ovarian torsion still goes to surgery even in a stable patient because a normal Doppler ultrasound does not rule it out. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Unstable means act, stable means confirm, and torsion always earns a trip to the operating room. Let us wrap up with where to go from here. The fastest way to lock in these 4 emergencies is to drill them in your question bank until the trigger words and the next best step come automatically. For the underlying content, lean on a trusted board review book and the obstetrics and gynecology section of a high-yield review resource, and read the explanations in your question bank closely. I am deliberately not giving you page numbers, because editions change and the chapters move, so just go to the Gynecologic Emergencies and Obstetrics and Gynecology sections of whatever current resource you trust. Read every explanation, even on the questions you got right, and practice under timed conditions so the patterns feel natural on test day. If you would like personal help, visit roadmaptoresidency.com, where our expert tutors and residency advisors can build a study plan around you. And if this video helped you master gynecologic emergencies, please like and subscribe, because it really helps the channel and helps more students find this content. Good luck on your exam, and we will see you in the next one.